full review of the Moto X. Now I'd like to say a big thank you to Moto for sending this out for review, so let's get started. So at first glance you can see that the Moto X looks really small compared to other flagships, even though it has a 4.7 inch screen. Now I really like the design of the Moto X. It has really thin bezels around the sides, and it has a really small form factor. If the back is curved to fit well in the palm of your hand, and there's an indent on the back where the Motorola logo is, which serves as a resting place for your index finger. Now on the back you can see that it has the bamboo finish. Now this is one of the big features of the Moto X, as the phone is very customizable, so you can go to your website or you can go to motomaker.com and customize the phone with different colored backplates and different accents, and you can also get it with wood finishes on the back. Now I think there are 4 available wood finishes, which are teal, walnut, ebony, and bamboo, which I have here. And overall the wood feels really nice. It's really high quality, and it also gives the phone some really nice build quality. And when you take the phone outside in public, you do get a lot of questions asked because the phone is very beautiful, and I am quite happy with the design of the phone. Taking a tour of the phone on the front, you notice the front facing 2 megapixel camera, you notice the sensors, and then the earpiece and the main microphone, and then you're greeted with the 4.7 inch 1280 by 720p Super AMOLED screen. Now you might think this display is not on par with today's high-end smartphones with 1080p displays, but with 316 ppi it easily gets the job done. You can't see any pixels because it's above 300 ppi. It's quite sharp. It has lots of saturation because it's an AMOLED screen. Viewing angles are great, but also because it's an AMOLED screen, it sacrifices brightness, so viewing this display outdoors isn't very nice. You can barely see it outdoors. But overall I was quite happy with the display on the Moto X, and I didn't have a lot of bad things to say about the display. On the right side of the phone you'd find the volume rockers and the power button. Both of these buttons feel really tactile. I like the feedback I get from them, and they're overall very responsive. There's pretty much nothing on the left side apart from the micro SIM card slot, and on the bottom of the phone you find the micro USB port and nothing else. And on the top of the phone you'd find the 3.5mm headphone jack right next to another microphone. On the back of the phone you notice an additional microphone to the other 2 microphones, a speaker, and the 10 megapixel camera with LED flash. Now the speaker in the Moto G was really loud. I enjoyed listening to music with it, but the only problem I had with it was that you can easily cover it with one finger. So that was the only problem, but the sound quality for me was really good. It's not quite on par with something like the HTC One, but overall the speaker was very good, and I was quite impressed with the speaker. In terms of the camera, the Moto X has a 10 megapixel camera on the back, which is capable of recording 1080p video at 30 frames per second, and there's a front facing 2 megapixel camera also capable of recording 1080p video at 30 frames per second. Now the rear facing camera on the Moto X was quite decent at taking pictures in good lighting. You could get some pretty good pictures in good lighting, but it suffers really badly in low light, so I wasn't really impressed with the rear facing camera on the Moto X. But the video was also quite good from the rear facing camera. Audio quality was also stellar, as the Moto X has 3 microphones like I said, and the audio quality was really good. The video quality from the front facing camera was also quite good. I was able to record the 1080p video at 30 frames per second, and it was really nice. And they just suffer in low light situations. So overall the camera on the Moto X was decent. It wasn't the best camera. Also, one thing I really liked was the software for the camera app on the Moto X. It was very simple, so if you're somebody who's switching from like an iPhone to Android, you can easily get a hang of the camera easily. It's very simple. It doesn't have as many options as for for manual users. So if you're a manual user, I recommend downloading an app from the Google Play Store that can suit your liking. But overall, the camera on the Moto X was decent. It's not something that will blow your mind, and it was pretty much did not do really well in low light situation. In terms of performance, inside the Moto X is the dual core Snapdragon S4 Pro clocked at 1.5 GHz, additional 2 GB of RAM, and the Adreno 320 GPU. Now, even though these might not sound like the most high-end specs, the Moto X was amazingly fast. The multitasking was a breeze on this phone. It could easily handle anything I throw at it. It was even able to handle games like Asphalt 8 with no lag at all, or even Modern Combat 4 with no lag at all. The phone was blazingly fast. The animations were smooth. I barely saw any drop frames. The navigating through the UI was very smooth. Overall, it's just, the Moto X is just a buttery device. It's like just amazing how fast this phone is, even though it only has a dual core processor. I was just blown away by the power found in the Moto X. In terms of software, the Moto X comes with Android 4.4 KitKat stock. I know there's already been an update for the international unlocked version, so Android 4.4.2, but the AT&T version, it's still stuck in Android 4.4 KitKat. Now, it runs an almost stock version of KitKat, so because Motorola implemented a few features into the phone which I found to be really useful. Now, the first feature was touchless control. So pretty much you can use the phone without touching it. All you need to say is, "Okay Google now," and the phone will be ready to listen to whatever you ask to the phone. And you can say commands. It can do Google searches, and I found this feature very useful. You can also use it to open apps and make calls, and it's sort of like Siri. So touchless control was a really very big feature on the Moto X, and I was quite impressed about how useful it was. Now, the second feature was active display. So pretty much when you have the phone in your pocket and you pull it out of your pocket, you can see it showing a preview of a notification on the screen, and you just tap it and it just shows you what the notification is. Now, this also was very useful, and even when the phone knows when it's in your pocket, so it doesn't turn on the screen in your pocket. But when you lay it down on the table, it does this every couple of seconds, and the way it does this without draining the battery life, because as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the Moto X has an AMOLED screen, so it only lights up the pixels needed to display the image, so it doesn't drain your battery too much, and it was a very useful feature. And the last feature was you could launch the camera without even having to unlock the phone. You just pull the phone out of your pocket and just flick your wrist, and it automatically launches the camera. So this is pretty much good for when you're in the moment and you really just wanted to take a quick snapshot of something. You could easily do this, and it was very useful. Now, inside the Moto X, there's a 2200 milliamp hour battery. I was able to last me through a full day of medium or even heavy use. I was able to game for about 1.5 hours with screen on time, and I mean the battery life on the Moto X is about decent. In terms of connectivity, the Moto X has Bluetooth, NFC, Wi-Fi 802.11 ABG, and it also supports 4G LTE even on the unlocked version. Now, on AT&T's 4G LTE network, I was able to get some pretty fast internet speeds, and I was also able to get pretty good cell reception everywhere I went. Call quality on the Moto X was really good. Caller sounded pretty good on our side. It's sort of a really soft tone, and they also said we sounded pleasant on their side too. So the call quality and the cell reception on the Moto X was really good. So the Moto X starts at a price of $399 for the 16GB version, unlocked with 4G LTE, and you pay an extra $25 to get the Wooden Edition Moto X's. Now, right now, at the time of recording this video, which is February 14th, Valentine's Day, there's a sale going on, and the Moto X is $70 off. So if you're lucky, you can go grab the Moto X right now. But yeah, guys, this has been supertechsaiyan. Thanks for watching my full review of the Moto X. A huge thanks to Motorola for sending this out for review. Be sure to tell me what you guys think about this phone in the comments down below, or tell me what you think about this particular video in the comments down below. I'd like to say a big thank you to Motorola for sending this out for review. Like the video if you liked it, dislike the video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Happy Valentine's Day and peace.